Welcome to New York's #2 sports show. The Yankees make a trade, and a pretty significant one. They acquired Jazz Chisholm Jr. from the Miami Marlins. So I think this is probably going to be the first of a few moves made by Brian Cashman by the Tuesday trade deadline. In this deal, the Yankees trade 3 prospects to the Marlins. One is catcher Agustin Ramirez, who is actually on the Yankees 40-man roster, an offensive-minded catcher who has, I believe, about 20 or so home runs and a good amount of steals, too, maybe a little less than 20 steals in time between AA and now AAA. He is ranked the number 20 Yankee prospect on MLB.com. Jared Serna, infielder, who I believe is in, I think, AA for the Yanks. Let's see. Serna is ranked 19th. So prospects 19 and 20. And Serna is actually no, he's just at high A right now. So not as far along, but certainly potential there. And then the third player is Abrahan Ramirez. I believe he's 19 or 20 years old. More of a lotto ticket type, but hey, so 3 position players traded away to the Marlins, but Jazz Chisholm, he is going to add versatility, speed, athleticism, talent, and he will be under team control through 2026. So this is not a rental situation. Jazz Chisholm, 26 years old. This is your leadoff hitter, at least for the foreseeable future. And Chisholm, there's a lot of swagger to his game, which the Yankees certainly could use. I mean, look, that's been like a point of emphasis for them, and it hasn't really all the way worked out. When you think about Verdugo, Stroman, a few others come to mind. Like that was, Soto. Like they want more personality. They're definitely getting that with Chisholm, a left-handed hitter, and someone who was an all-star in 2022. Injuries have been a bit of an issue for him, so that's something to think about. But the numbers for Chisholm this year: 249 batting average, a 730 OPS, 22 steals, 13 homers, 50 RBIs. But this is someone that has there's a power speed combo element to him. Via StatCast, if all of Jazz Chisholm's games were held at Yankee Stadium this season, he'd actually have 19 home runs. So it seems as if his swing might just be tailor-made for Yankee Stadium, and that would be good too. What's interesting about this is, where will Chisholm play? Now, he came up as a shortstop. So Jazz Chisholm, who came through the Arizona Diamondback system, was involved in a pretty big trade at the deadline in 2019. He was traded for Zach Gallen, and that deal really, I guess worked out for both teams. I guess more for Arizona. Gallen's been, a top of the, rotation sort of guy for the Diamondbacks. But Chisholm's been no slouch with the Miami Marlins. And he came up as a shortstop. But really in the majors, he played a lot of second base and now lately more so center field. So he made his debut with the Marlins in 2020, kind of split time between second and short. But as time went on, was more of a second baseman until 2023, where he's primarily played center field. But you look at the Yankees, and second base would make more sense. But of course, there's still Gleyber Torres. So I'm thinking that there's definitely going to be more. Like this is possibly going to be like a domino effect here. And will Jazz Chisholm or Gleyber Torres move over to third? I don't know. Gleyber played some third base in the minor leagues. Chisholm never did. And so your guess is as good as mine. But could this lead to a Gleyber Torres trade? I think that's possible. I don't think that's the craziest thing to consider. But also Chisholm might play a little bit of center field. And what does that mean for Trent Grisham? Like, could Grisham be traded away? That's also not out of the realms of possibility. So I'm very curious as to that. Where will he play? Will he bounce around between the infield and the outfield? I don't know. Again, we don't really have the answer to that, but it certainly does. It begs the question, what is next? And I believe that I think he's known as being defensively better at second than in center. I don't think he's the greatest defensive center fielder, but I don't have the stats to totally back that up. But But with Chisholm, look, this is someone, he was on the cover of MLB The Show, MLB The Show 23. So this is someone that, is a known player. Obviously, him being in Miami is tough. They haven't really been particularly good, although they did have it last year. They did have that wild card appearance against the Philadelphia Phillies. And so, and Chisholm, he did have a brief part on that the 2020 team that the shortened season out of COVID. That team made the playoffs, and Chisholm had a bit role there. So it's not as if he's completely. He's seen a little bit of playoff baseball, but you're hoping for him that leaving Miami and heading to the Bronx will really sort of juice him up a bit, playing in what will be playoff intensity for the last couple of months. And again, to me, this is why this is a big trade, is because this is a player that is under contract for not only this season, the remainder of this season, but for 25 and for 26. So, and look, we'll find out in due time whether the prospect package that the Yankees traded away to the Marlins was worth it or not. We will see, but I'll say this, the Yankees, they needed to make moves. The team as presently constituted was not good enough. And so I hope this is the first of many, many acquisitions. And I was getting a little concerned because, look, Tuesday is fast approaching, but they're getting ahead of it a little bit here, and that's good. As far as when Chisholm will make his debut, it'll either be Sunday Night Baseball at Fenway Park against the Red Sox, or a familiar place for Jazz Chisholm against the Philadelphia Phillies in Philly. And I tend to think, I think it could go either way. We saw recently with Randy Arozarena that, there was no rush for him to get over to play for the Mariners coming from the Rays. So I guess if I had to guess, I could see Chisholm making his debut against the Phillies on Monday, but it would be pretty cool to see him make it at Fenway Park on Sunday Night Baseball versus the Red Sox. But this was probably one of the better, more talented players that was available. There's other names out there. And again, I still think that this will be, I think the Yankees will definitely be looking to acquire a closer. I think another position player is possible. And who will, when this trade deadline comes and goes, will Gleyber Torres still be on this roster? Will DJ LeMahieu still be on this roster? And the good thing is the likes of Jahmai Jones, JD Davis, they are almost certainly going to be gone. And so you're getting a deeper team by doing this. And another thought that comes to mind, because I know they are so strict about the lefty, righty, lefty sort of thing. Chisholm being a lefty, is there any chance, and I'm going to say that it's doubtful, but do they maybe switch, do they go Judge 2, Soto 3? Lefty, righty, lefty. Because again, I'm assuming that Chisholm will be batting leadoff, at least to start out. And are they okay with having Jazz Chisholm and Juan Soto back-to-back both lefties? I don't particularly have a major issue with it, but I know that sometimes they're a little bit strict with that. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I think, for the Yankees, it's a matter of really needing to make moves, hoping that players come back healthy, Giancarlo Stanton, Jason Dominguez, Clark Schmidt, just to name a few. There's definitely some other guys as well that the Yankees could really use. But yeah, 22 stolen bases for Jazz Chisholm, that's nice. The Yankees need speed. They need a little bit more to be honest, they do need a little bit more personality. And so this isn't without risk. Again, there's injury risk. There is off the field risk. There really is. If things go south, like Chisholm, there's been things where he hasn't really gotten along so well with teammates. So this is not as if it's a slam dunk move, but you got to be at least intrigued by it and understand why it's happening. So again, curious to see. I think Chisholm makes more sense at second base than center field, but we'll see what happens. And so it's an interesting time with the Yankees. A few more days. I think the Tampa Bay Rays, Jack Curry has reported the Yankees are in talks with the Rays. They have a lot of interesting players. I think they make some sense. The Angels have a couple of players that I think that could make sense for the Yankees as well. So, Chisholm's the first domino to fall. And I think a lot more to come. So, again, Yankees trade prospects Agustin Ramirez, Jared Serna, and Abrahan Ramirez to the Marlins. And we will see, Jazz Chisholm. Hopefully this will be something that we can look back on and say a good Brian Cashman acquisition. And only time will tell. So, Jazz Chisholm is a New York Yankee.